Fat loss is not about restriction. It's about structure and balance. And in order to get that structure and balance, you cannot be cutting out a bunch of stuff from your diet or eating habits. So if you're the type of person who's tried different approaches to losing your weight and nothing seems to work, then this video is for you. I'm gonna go over all the macros and nutrients that you need to lose fat the most effective way possible. If you're not familiar with the macros, carbs, fats, protein. And of course, I'm going in that order, saving the most important one for fat loss, protein, for last. But before I get into the macros, I'm going to talk about something that is not a macronutrient, that is on the same par as protein, and that is fiber. Fiber might be the single most overlooked nutrient that people get overall nowadays. And there's countless reasons for this. Number one, first and foremost, it's the number one cause for all-cause mortality, meaning that it makes you live longer. Huge preventer to colon cancer. Actually, number one preventer of colon cancer is more fiber in your diet. And it's incredible for your gut health, digestion, and making you feel more full in your day, which is essential to lose weight because you're less likely to eat more and have more calories, which is the number one way to lose fat. Calories in, calories out. There's a few things to note about fiber though. Number one is to make sure you stay clear of processed foods. Stay at whole food sources, solid fruits, solid vegetables. Don't be getting all that fake crap. There's two types of fibers, soluble and insoluble. Fruits are going to be good for getting that gel-like substance to help your body to aid in digestion, increase insulin sensitivity, and lower your blood sugar. Insoluble fiber is really good for adding bulk to your stool and making everything regular, if you know what I mean. This is why you really need both. Speaking of GI, the next thing you gotta know is you gotta gradually increase the amount that you have in a day. Meaning, if you don't have anything right now, or if you don't even know how much fiber you're having right now, it's important to find out where you already are and then gradually increase over time. Everybody should be at a place where they get at least, at the very minimum, 30 grams per day of fiber. But obviously the more the better, if it's whole foods, that is. If you get too much, you could always lose control of your gut health and have GI issues. This video is for beginners who aren't having enough in the first place, so keep that in mind. And the third thing is make sure you're drinking enough water. Water aids with fiber significantly. And you should be getting it anyway for weight loss, at least 64 ounces per day. Fiber is also excellent because it's only 2 calories per gram, as opposed to 9 calories per gram for fat or 4 calories per gram for carbs and protein. It keeps your calories low and simultaneously makes you feel more full. The perfect recipe for eating less and losing more fat. Now let's get on to macros. Every single macro has a purpose. Let's start with the carbs, the most demonized of the three. Now you may have heard from diets like the keto or low carb or Mediterranean that carbs are demonized and they're the enemy. I disagree. Why? While it's true that carbs are not essential like proteins and fats, meaning that our body doesn't make it so we need it from an external source already, our body doesn't need carbs. What they do help with is activity and energy. Easy in energy and easy out energy. If we already have multiple steps per day, if we're already going for the walks and have the basic activity like we should, then carbs are necessary. If you're a very sedentary individual and you don't get any activity at all, or barely any, then they become a problem. But it's very important, especially living today where carbs and heavy sources of breads and stuff like that are everywhere today. It's important to note that carbs are not the enemy. They're not preventing you from losing weight, unless you are sedentary, like I said. This is why it's important to eat the foods you like. Little side note here, I had decided that I wanted to try some cauliflower pizza because I've heard wonderful things about cauliflower pizza. It's got fiber in it, it's not as many calories, obviously. So I thought I'd try it out. We shop at Aldi's. My wife got me a cauliflower pizza to try, and I hated it. I gave it a shot, but there was something about the taste, it wasn't for me. I like cauliflower on its own. I like pizza, not together. Didn't work for me. Cool, that's fine. So what did I do? I had the regular pizza that my wife got instead, but I just monitored how much of it I took. And I made sure I had some other things on the side. So my normal pizza has veggie toppings. I love broccoli, tomato, and hamburg on my pizza. And yes, I get made fun of. And was that hard at first? Yeah, it was. But you know what else was hard? My poo. The point is, you want to find stuff that you already enjoy and not restrict yourself, and figure out what you can swap to stay in your caloric budget. It's like having money, right? You don't overspend, otherwise there'll be financial consequences, just like you don't overeat because there'll be weight consequences. The bottom line here is, if you like your carbs, make sure you're getting 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day, and regular workouts, at least 15 to 20 minutes 3 times a week. You should be all right. The main objective for fat loss is staying in a consistent number of calories. Let's get into macro number 2, that's also demonized by my clients as well, is fats. Fats are demonized probably a large portion because of the name itself, but I'm here to tell you that they're not bad. In fact, they're actually really good. They do wonderful things for your body. They're very good for skin, hair, and nails, but most importantly, they're amazing for your hormones, particularly in women. And women are the first that I've, in my experience, to demonize fats. And women need fats because part of regulating their hormones could mean getting their cycle in a good rhythm. There's been cases where women have gotten their periods back after not having them for years, just because they incorporate the proper fats into their everyday eating habits. A few things you got to keep in mind. There's a couple different types of fats. There's omega-3s, which are found in fatty fish like salmon. There's omega-6, which is the most common in today's regular diet, which is found in all the seed oils and olive oils, cooking oils, everywhere. In fact, it should be like I remember it was like a 1-to-3 ratio for omega-3s as opposed to omega-6, but I think it's more like 1-to-10 or over. It's bad. And that's because of what the food is like, particularly here in the US. This is why it's recommended to take an omega-3 supplement if you're not into fish, but very good to keep in mind. It's just gonna affect everything else in your life. It's got EPA, DHA. EPA is really good for your inflammation, anti-inflammatory, and DHA is really good for your cognitive health. These are essential for your body. Your body needs this stuff, and it's not something that your body can make on its own. Omega-3s are not found in most multivitamins as well. One more thing I'll mention about fats. If you're not getting enough fat, your hormones are not functioning like they should, meaning your body will go into stress mode and produce more cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and it actually makes your body hold on to more body fat. This is why it's so important to not be stressed and give your body what it needs. Shout out to OB Health Fit, by the way. And that brings me to the most important macronutrient you need to lose fat: protein. Protein is something that you should not underestimate. In fact, it's one of the first steps I recommend to people who are just starting on their weight loss journey. The thing I usually tell people is to, number 1, monitor their processed food intake, which I touched on earlier. Number 2, drink more water and your steps. Water and steps kind of go together in my mind. And number 3 is your protein intake. Typically you want about 0.7 to 0.8 grams per pound of your current body weight. But if you don't want to get into the math and over technical about it, just start with 100 grams and work up from there. But before you do that, you have to start tracking. Even if you don't track every single calorie in every single food, just track what foods they are. Don't get so fixated if you're just starting off on the number. Just start with what the foods are. There was a study at Harvard University. Was it Harvard? It was either Harvard or Duke. I don't remember. But basically, they had a bunch of participants test out how much weight they'd lose, or if there'd be any change to their weight, if they just started tracking. No diet plan, no change to their eating habits whatsoever. They just started with the awareness, being more aware of what they're putting into their body. What they found was, after about a month or two, they found, on average, they lost about 5 pounds. That may not seem like a lot, but you gotta remember they did not have any plan to go by. They lost that weight strictly just by being more aware and cognizant of what they're putting in their bodies. It worked for them, and it could work for you too. So whether or not you're tracking your protein, it's important to note a few things about protein. Number 1, you gotta have it earlier in the day. Same idea with the fiber, it fills you up more, and it helps you not overeat. Number two, it helps you preserve your muscle. When you're losing weight, you're in a calorie deficit, which is you're burning more calories than you consume. Your body's gonna burn fat, muscle. In order to prevent that, your protein will help you maintain your muscle. This is why it's important to keep your workouts as well. And the more protein you have, the more muscle you keep. And then the more muscle you keep, the more calories you burn at rest. It's called your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. And that rate goes up the more muscle mass you have because it takes more calories to keep and maintain that muscle that you have. It's like a muscle car or a bigger engine. Think of your muscle as bigger engine, burns more fuel. As you can see, fiber and every single macro is very important. If this helped you today, make sure you like the video. It really helps show it to more people. Subscribe for more videos like this. And check out this video I just made last week talking about why diets don't work. See you next